consumer sets. So I changed the mentality from product platforms into consumer sets. So now let's find out, since we want young adults so badly, what do they already buy from us? And if we can find a nugget in trying to figure out how to make the world safe for more Softails, make the world safe for more Dynas, and they were sort of competing with each other around product platforms, not about consumer sets. So I changed the mentality from product platforms into consumer sets. So now let's find out, since we want young adults so badly, what do they already buy from us? And if we can find a nugget in there, maybe we can clone it. And we found an interesting insight, which was that the young adults that were buying Harleys were not just the cheapest bikes. And our cheapest bike at that time was like $6,900. And it certainly just wasn't our fastest bikes like the V-Rod. And what we found is they liked the certain design ethos that was already embedded in some of the product lines, which is this kind of blacked out, more essential, stripped back. You know, they didn't want chrome. They didn't want extra accessories. They wanted to feel more essential and more kind of raw and what they would say is make true to, you know, what a pure Harley would be, not the chrome cruiser thing. But we already had some bikes like that just from the insight of people in our design studio who kind of liked that stuff. And so they put that stuff together and they put it out on the floor and we were already selling it. We just never saw that pattern before. So with this insight in mind, we created a sub-brand called Dark Custom. And we created a new identity around it. We mashed up a Willie G skull that he had designed for use in other product lines, and an Evel Knievel Racing 1, and we smashed those things together. And we threw that out in the world within, 3 months of when I arrived. And took the bikes that were of that design style and put them together into this sub-brand. So it was like, it doesn't matter if it's a Softail, it's a Sportster, it's a whatever. If it has this design ethos, it's a Dark Custom. And then we just started telling more people about the fact that we had these bikes, which were very, very hard to find on the floor because they were drowning in the sea of chrome. So even if a young adult had the gumption to come into the dealership, they couldn't find the thing that they were looking for. So this is really just about getting out of our own way, capturing stuff that we already had, reframing it, packaging it a little differently in the Harley way, and then taking that identity and assigning it to cultural references that made sense.